You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
I'm back. Rodrans for Black and White Sports, and let's talk about New Orleans Saints safety Malcolm Jenkins. Malcolm Jenkins is now famously probably more known for fanning the woke social justice flames, spreading the false narrative of racial injustice and inequality, and in ways that can only be described as brave and stunning by the left. And he has come out, he is talking about tokenism, talking about the fact that the NFL, in his opinion, I guess, hasn't done enough. We saw this the other day with a clown that plays for the Philadelphia Eagles, Rodney McLeod, when he came out and said, the NFL should be more like the NBA. And I'm thinking, really? Have you not literally seen the NBA's business model be completely dismantled over the last 4 months, specifically because of taking a political stance, backing a Marxist organization? Now, Malcolm Jenkins does not bring up Black Lives Matter here whatsoever. But there are some things that I feel like he talks about that is complete nonsense. Also, it would be wrong of me not to bring up the fact that he's one of the ones that threw Drew Brees under the bus over the fact that Drew Brees said he was going to stand for the national anthem. You are Drew's teammate. You should have your teammates back, especially your quarterback, especially a guy that contributed $5 million to a mostly black state in Louisiana for COVID relief out of his own pocket, and over the years has raised more than $33 million. And instead of coming out and saying there's no way in hell Drew Brees is a racist, you didn't do that. You called what Drew Brees said disrespectful. So I am not a fan of Malcolm Jenkins. He's a hell of a player on the field, although his skills are eroding. But for somebody that I know has to be smarter than this, because I've heard him talk, he sounds intelligent. He spreads some of the most ignorant messages I have ever heard in my life. And one of the projects that Jenkins is working on right now is an off-field project, a documentary called Black Boys. Why is it that people on the left and people wanting to talk about injustice always has to stick a color label on everything? It's odd. For people trying to bring awareness to something involving skin color, supposedly, they have done more for segregation in the last 6 months than... they have set this country back so far. Jenkins said the film is intended to instill black children the ability to see themselves outside of just being an athlete or entertainer. There's nothing wrong with that in a vacuum, no. Instead, he wants to present other avenues to allow kids who Jenkins feels have their, quote, humanity under attack as early as grade school to explore what they can do with their minds and creativity. Two aspects Jenkins says are, quote, often left out of the narrative. He has been praised and scorned for raising his fist during the national anthem on September 19, 2016. He has fought to bring awareness to racial inequality and social justice. And it goes on to talk about, they praise him for things like urging Roger Goodell, I guess, to bend the knee to Colin Kaepernick. And, of course, the NFL putting social statements that first week in the end zones, on helmets, on caps. But Jenkins says there's a lot more that can be done with social justice warriors. It is never enough. At this point, tokenism really doesn't mean that much. Instead, and this is what it always comes back to, politics. He sees real change coming when the team owners leverage their considerable political clout. I want to see them use their political power. and their political power for the policy changes we actually need. What are those changes? He preaches the importance of voting and praises the NFL's initiative designed to motivate people to vote. Quote, I have been very encouraged to see teams commit their stadiums to polling places, to volunteer to service those polls, etc., etc., etc. The Saints sit on top of the NFC South. Quote, I feel like my voice in this space is important, and I will continue to do that in a way that's unique. Yeah, but the problem is you're spreading a false narrative of racial injustice, police brutality. You know, it's amazing. Malcolm Jenkins does seem like he's intelligent, much more intelligent than some of these assholes that are playing out there on the field that in a lot of ways can't complete a sentence. But he doesn't speak like that. He doesn't speak like he's ignorant at all. So it makes you wonder, why do you not look at the root issue, which is teaching children to be productive citizens, teaching children to study hard, break the narrative, to learn a trade, go to college. Although I think learning a trade is probably more important at this point because colleges are partially responsible for poisoning the minds of look, most of Antifa and all those folks, they're all young people. They're all like 18 to 30, and a lot of it is they're college educated, and their liberal professors have poisoned them. Okay, and look, he could preach learn a trade. He could preach compliance with the police. He could preach the fact that, hey, quit having the boogeyman conversation in the black community with black children about the police. Quit making the police out to be Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers like they're hunting down black Americans when they absolutely are not. Again, more whites in 2019 unarmed were killed by police than blacks. We don't know a single one of those whites' names, okay? But you want to make a martyr out of all these criminals. Again, over skin color. Again, you're trying to segregate America all over again. It's ridiculous. And then he comes out and he says, political power. They hate Donald Trump. He wants to see the owners speak out and have a more active role. They've turned their stadiums into polling places because people like LeBron James basically did everything but come out and directly say, black Americans are too lazy to wait in line to vote. I saw somebody on my Facebook yesterday that votes for Trump said they waited in line 5 hours for early voting. It's a thing, okay? You wait in line. There's nothing wrong with having more voting places, but when the league gets on TV, makes commercials about voting, and you blatantly know they're all wanting you to vote left, people don't want to see that, okay? Sports stars and celebrities have made it clear they hate Donald Trump. So, for somebody that's so intelligent, Malcolm Jenkins has done a lot of ignorant-ass things. And again, he had a chance to be a strong voice for black Americans, and he's chosen to go down the false narrative route. It's absolutely ridiculous. He's doing a massive disservice to the black community. He is. In a vacuum, encouraging black men, black boys to become productive citizens and not entertainers and athletes on the surface is a great thing. But when you follow it up with all the racial injustice crap and the social justice crap, you ruin it because you're destroying the root cause. The root cause is be a productive citizen, don't be a criminal, and you won't have to worry about it. And, look, Malcolm Jenkins, we don't want to see the shit on the field in the NFL, period. We do not. Look at the NBA. The NBA has destroyed their brand and will probably never recover because of social justice. You can't call your fan base racist when they're not racist and expect people to be okay with that. You're not sparking conversation. You know, You're not sparking conversation. That does not make people very happy. Tell me what you think, black and white sports fans. Malcolm Jenkins, he threw Drew Brees under the bus. Drew should have just retired. He really should have, but his teammates should have had his back too. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.